No other country in the world is as diverse as Iceland. Here, the elemental forces of nature have created landscapes of breathtaking beauty. During our 10-day road trip along the southern and western coast of Iceland, we entered a world so surreal that it was almost like a dream. We explored and marveled at the most breathtaking waterfalls, black lava beaches, bubbling hot springs, gushing geysers, and icy glaciers. Our adventure took us on the trail of Iceland's largest glacier, where we hiked through untouched ice landscapes. In Reykjavik, we embarked on an exciting expedition in search of the giants of the seas, the whales. We share all these unforgettable experiences and impressions with you in our video. Join us on this fascinating journey and discover the beautiful land of ice and fire, Iceland. After landing at Keflavik Airport, we picked up our rental car. Which car you should hire in Iceland depends on many factors, such as the planned route, the time of year, and your budget. Although our route was mainly planned on the paved ring road, we still opted for a 4x4. In the high season, in summer, a small car might be sufficient for most routes. But in the low season, especially in winter, a four-wheel drive is highly recommended due to snow and ice. We were in Iceland at the end of September and rented a small Suzuki Jimny, which is very well suited for the different road conditions in Iceland, including light off-road trails and gravel roads. On our 10-day trip, we drove along the ring road from Keflavik Airport to Stokksnes in the east, visiting many popular locations along the way. The ring road, also known as Route 1, is a major road that stretches around the whole of Iceland. It is the most important road in the country and connects most of the inhabited areas, as well as many of the most famous sites. From Stokksnes, we drove back towards Reykjavik and visited the sites of the Golden Circle. Finally, we drove to the famous Kirkjufell mountain in the west of the island. Our first location in our trip was Reykjadalur Valley. The valley, whose name translates as Steam Valley, is known for its geothermal activities and natural hot rivers. To reach the hot springs in Reykjadalur Valley, you have to hike about 4 kilometers. The hiking trail leads through a picturesque landscape with steaming fields and smaller hot springs. At the end of the hike, there are several places along the river where the water is pleasantly warm and perfect for bathing. Bathing in hot springs is a long tradition in Iceland. This practice dates back to the settlement period of the Vikings, who settled in Iceland as early as the 9th century. The natural hot springs were used not only for bathing, but also for cooking and heating. Today, hot springs and geothermal baths are an integral part of Icelandic culture and a popular leisure activity for locals and tourists. After the hike in Reykjadalur Valley, we drove further along the ring road to the famous Seljalandsfoss waterfall. It is approximately 60 meters high and is easily accessible from the main road, making it a popular attraction. The special thing about this waterfall is that you can walk behind it and enjoy a unique perspective and breathtaking photo opportunities. Our next stop is another iconic waterfall in Iceland, Skogafoss. Skogafoss is one of the most famous and enchanting waterfalls in Iceland. Located on the Skoga River in the heart of the country, it is part of an ancient glacial river. The waterfall measures approximately 60 metres in height and 25 metres in width. Skogafoss is renowned for its majestic beauty and powerful water flows that plunge into a deep pool, creating a thick mist and often a rainbow on sunny days. A unique feature of Skogafoss is the ability to get quite close to the base of the waterfall, as well as climb to an observation deck at the top for a breathtaking view. This waterfall is also shrouded in myths and legends, including stories of a treasure left behind by a Viking, hidden behind it. Skogafoss is a popular stop for tourists travelling along Iceland's south coast and is often included in travel itineraries along with other well-known natural landmarks of the country. Not just the waterfall, but the surrounding area is beautiful and so unique. You can walk along the Skoga River and enjoy the nature here. The weather in Iceland is so moody. The sun was shining, and in 5 minutes we had our first snow in Iceland. In the afternoon we went to the plane wreck on Sólheimajökull beach. From the parking lot you have to walk about 4 kilometres to the famous location. The hiking trail is relatively flat and easy to walk. The Sólheimasandur plane wreck refers to the remains of a US Navy Douglas Super DC-3 aircraft that crash-landed in 1973 on Sólheimasandur, a remote sandplain on the southern coast of Iceland. The crash was due to severe weather conditions and a lack of fuel, but fortunately, all those on board survived. Today, the wreckage is a popular tourist attraction, known for its surreal setting amidst the stark Icelandic landscape. The plane lies abandoned on the black sand, creating an impressive and often photographed scene, featured prominently on social media. The next day we continued our journey and moved further along the ring road in the direction of the village of Vik. On the way there, we made a stop at the Sólheimajökull Glacier lagoon. A glacier is formed when more snow falls than melts in cold regions over a period of years. This snow accumulates and is compressed further and further by its own weight. Over time, the snow turns into a kind of icy mass, called firn. If the pressure continues to increase, the firn becomes dense glacial ice. There are 13 large and several small glaciers in Iceland, covering a total of around 11% of the country's land area. Sólheimajökull is a relatively easy-to-reach glacier, making it ideal for short hikes. Guided glacier hikes are also offered here, but we leave Sólheimajökull and continue on to our next destination. Dyrhólaey is a small peninsula and cliff west of Vik, known for its natural stone arch and breathtaking views. By the way, Dyrhólaey is an excellent place to observe puffins. During the breeding season from May to mid-August, the cliffs and rocks of Dyrhólaey are a favourite nesting site for these impressive birds. The weather conditions in Iceland can sometimes be very challenging. Sunshine can change to heavy rain, snow or fog within minutes. Iceland is also known for its violent storms. Especially in autumn and winter, the winds can be very strong and create dangerous conditions for drivers and hikers. Incidentally, the list of hotels where we stayed is included in the video description. Víkurfjara is a famous black sand beach near the village of Reykjadalur. Off the coast, striking basalt rocks known as reynisdrangar rise out of the sea. Legend has it that these are petrified trolls. The beach is known for its strong surf and dangerous waves. The so-called sneaker waves can be unpredictable and dangerous, requiring extra caution when visiting. Fjaðrárgljúfur Canyon in Iceland is an impressive natural gorge known for its unique and dramatic landscapes. The canyon, about 100 metres deep and 2 kilometres long, was formed by the erosion of the Fjaðra River over thousands of years. The steep walls are covered with lush green moss that shines in various shades of green depending on the season and weather conditions. At the bottom of the canyon, the Fjaðra River meanders, its clear, cold water fed by nearby glaciers. Trails along the rim offer stunning views of the winding formations, allowing visitors to fully enjoy the spectacular scenery and tranquil atmosphere of this remote area. Fjaðrárgljúfur is particularly popular among photographers due to its sublime beauty and almost surreal natural setting. It was one of the highlights of our trip to Iceland, captivating us with its breathtaking vistas and serene environment. After a hike along the canyon, we continued on towards the Skaftafell National Park. The scenery became more and more impressive, and then we were lucky enough to meet Icelandic horses. Icelandic horses are deeply rooted in Icelandic culture. They are known for their special gaits and ability to survive in harsh environments. They have a thick winter coat that protects them from the extreme Icelandic winters. Icelandic horses are generally very friendly, calm and composed, but also energetic and willing to perform when challenged. In the evening, we took a short walk to Svartifoss waterfall. Svartifoss is an impressive waterfall in the Skaftafell Nature Reserve. The most striking feature of Svartifoss is the dark basalt columns that surround the waterfall. The hexagonal shapes of the basalt columns are reminiscent of organ pipes.
One of you been on a glacier before? No? Okay.
The next day we were very excited because we had a glacier hike planned. We met up with the guide and the rest of the group in Skaftafell, where we got acquainted with the equipment and drove the SUV closer to the glacier. You should be well prepared for a glacier hike to ensure both safety and enjoy the experience. Weatherproof clothing is essential. You should wear several layers to adapt to changing weather conditions. This includes a waterproof and windproof jacket and trousers, an insulating layer of fleece or wool, and a base layer of moisture-wicking material. High-quality, sturdy hiking boots that provide good grip and are suitable for use with crampons are crucial. Crampons are stretched over the boots to provide grip on the ice. They are usually part of the equipment provided by the tour company, just like an ice axe and a helmet. An ice axe is used for additional safety on steeper or icy passages. A helmet protects your head from falling rocks or ice. During the hike, we learned a lot about glaciers and their crucial role in the global climate system. Glaciers influence both the weather and the climate in various ways. Glaciers store about 69% of the world's freshwater. They act as crucial reservoirs, storing water during cooler periods and releasing it by melting during warmer periods. This water is crucial for rivers, lakes and groundwater systems, and supports both human populations and wildlife. When glaciers melt, they contribute directly to sea level rise, affecting coastal communities and ecosystems worldwide. The acceleration of glacier retreat due to global warming is one of the main causes of rapid sea level rise in recent decades. Glaciers reflect a large amount of sunlight back into space due to their bright surface, known as the albedo effect. This helps to regulate the Earth's temperature. As glaciers melt and retreat, Less sunlight is reflected and instead the exposed darker surfaces absorb more heat, leading to further warming. This process is also known as positive feedback and accelerates climate change. They also influence oceanic currents by feeding fresh water into the oceans. These currents, such as the Gulf Stream, are crucial for regulating the climate worldwide. Changes in the amount of freshwater released by glaciers can disrupt these currents, which can have far-reaching effects on climate, including changing weather patterns across continents. Glacial ice contains valuable records of past climate conditions in the form of trapped air bubbles that show atmospheric compositions thousands of years ago. By drilling ice cores and analysing them, scientists can obtain important information about historical climate changes and atmospheric compositions.
You see how much melted in the last few years? A lot. So, in the summer, the glacier melts around 5-7 centimeters every day. In the summer, every single day. And this glacier, Fjaðrárgljúfur, is losing around 10, 15, 20 meters or so every year. I think this is going to be the furthest point where we will go. So I will tell you a little bit first.
At the end of the hike, we had a small challenge: to do a Viking push-up on an ice axe above the crevasse and take a sip of water from it. By the way, the water is crystal clear and very tasty. After the glacier hike, we drove further towards Jökulsárlón lagoon, and on the way there, we found a no less impressive but much less visited glacier lake, Fjallsárlón. The lagoon is located directly on the Fjallsárlón glacier. Jökulsárlón is an impressive glacier lagoon on the edge of Vatnajökull National Park. It is located directly on the ring road. An outstanding feature of Jökulsárlón are the numerous icebergs that break off from the glacier tongue and float in the lagoon. These icebergs are often of a fascinating size and shape and can appear in colours ranging from brilliant white to deep blue due to the density and age of the ice. The lagoon is about 18 square kilometres in size and up to 248 metres deep, making it the deepest lagoon in Iceland. Jökulsárlón is connected to the Atlantic Ocean via a short river, the Jökulsá, which means that there is a constant exchange of water and icebergs at high and low tide. The beach around the lagoon is known as Diamond Beach, a popular spot in Iceland. The beach takes its name from the many chunks of ice that glitter like diamonds on the black volcanic sand. These chunks of ice come from the icebergs that break off from the glacier tongue and drift through the lagoon before finally washing up on the beach. The changing tides and the constant movement of the ice ensure that the beach looks different every time you visit, which adds to its fascination. Here you can experience the unique beauty of Icelandic nature up close and watch the chunks of ice slowly melt in the sun or float in the sea. The Jökulsárlón lagoon in Iceland has been a filming location for several well-known films including Die Another Day and Batman Begins. On the 6th day of our journey, we reached the place we were really looking forward to. Unfortunately, we were unlucky with the weather when we arrived there, but despite heavy rain and wind, we went for a walk. And that is the reason why you should travel slowly in Iceland and always plan a little time buffer. Within a few hours, we had a magnificent natural spectacle and were able to experience Stokksnes in different moods, from the gloomy atmosphere to a breathtaking sunset. We had rain and wind, blue skies and rainbows over the Atlantic, sun and the perfect reflection of the Vestrahorn mountain in the calm waters of the lagoon. And at the end of the day, we were rewarded with the fantastic sunset. And all of this almost to ourselves. There were hardly any other tourists there apart from us. We really grew to love this place, and we took our time and let nature work its magic on us. The next day we drove back in the direction of Reykjavik. We spent almost the whole day on the road, travelling around 430 kilometres. The next day, we wanted to see the sights of the Golden Circle. The Golden Circle is a popular tourist route in South Iceland. We visited Geysir geothermal area. This area is known for its hot springs and geysers, including the famous Stokksnes, which shoots a fountain of water into the air every 5 to 10 minutes. The Great Geyser, the namesake of all geysers worldwide, can also be found here, although it does not currently erupt regularly. Gullfoss. Golden Waterfall is one of the most impressive waterfalls in Iceland. It consists of 2 steps that reach a total height of around 32 metres. Unfortunately, we weren't lucky with the weather. It was very windy, cold, and still snowing. So we drove on to see the Kerið crater lake. It is known for its deep blue water and red lava walls. The next day we were at the port in Reykjavik early in the morning to take part in an exciting whale watching tour. Reykjavik is the northernmost capital in the world with around 130,000 inhabitants. The city is known for its lively cultural scene. Reykjavik offers numerous museums, art galleries, theatres and music events. The Harper Concert and Conference Centre is an architectural highlight and hosts many cultural events. The waters around Iceland are rich in marine life and are home to a variety of whale species. The most common whale species seen on these tours include minke whales, humpback whales, and dolphins. If you're lucky, you may also spot orcas, blue whales, and other large whales. The peak season for whale watching in Reykjavik is from April to October. During these months, the chances of seeing whales are highest, as many whale species are out in the food-rich waters around Iceland at this time. Tour operators usually provide warm overalls and rain gear, as it can be very cool and windy at sea. Whale watching tours offer a unique opportunity to experience these majestic animals in their natural habitat, while enjoying Iceland's stunning coastal scenery. We spent some time in Reykjavik, enjoyed local food, and decided to visit another very famous place in the west of the country, the mountain Kirkjufell. Kirkjufell is located on the north coast of the Snæfellsnes peninsula in western Iceland. Kirkjufell, which means church mountain in English, is one of the most famous mountains in Iceland. Kirkjufell is famous for its distinctive symmetrical shape, which resembles a church tower. The mountain rises 463 meters above sea level and drops steeply on all sides. This unusual shape has earned it the nickname, the most beautiful mountain of Iceland, and one of the most photographed landmarks. The mountain served as a filming location for the popular TV series Game of Thrones, where it was featured as the mountain in the shape of an arrow in the 7th season. I hope you enjoyed the video, and maybe it will inspire you to travel to Iceland, because the land has so much to discover. Feel free to write me in the comments which location in Iceland you liked best, and for more travel inspiration, subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram.